بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Today I have another reaction video. In this reaction video, it's a revert story of a sister from Quebec. I don't have her name because kind of video doesn't show anything. This is not directly, I think, from her channel. But let's see the sister's information, how she reverted and the challenge she faced during her reversion. Maybe that's about 3-4 years ago. Let's get to her story and listen to the sister, what she says. Let's get to it.
Assalamu alaikum, beautiful human. It's me again. Yeah. So my name is Cath. I'm 35 years old. I come from Quebec in Canada, and today I'm going to tell you my revert story because yes, Alhamdulillah, I am a revert Muslim since 2020. So yeah, I was born in 1988, which means that I'm getting old.
No, you're not too old.
But yeah, Alhamdulillah. So I grew up in a pretty, let's say, atheist family, but my grandmother was a really, really pious woman. So I remember that I was going to the church with her every single time she was babysitting me. We were praying together before each meal, and we were praying together before going to bed at night. So when I was a kid, I was believing. I was a believer. I was Catholic, and I used to have religious courses at school. For those of you who remember the catechize courses, it was so boring, but still, I had those for all my primary school. And afterwards, I had them at high school for like 4 more years. So yeah, it was a long time. So, but yeah, I read the Bible a lot, entirely. So I know the subject. So my grandmother passed away when I was almost 11. And at this moment, I became angry at God for taking her away because I was really close with her. And she was always there for me. She was really protecting me. She was comforting. She was a really, really good woman. May her soul rest in peace. But yeah, at this moment, I decided that I didn't want to be religious anymore. And in my childish mind, sorry for the word, but in my childish mind, I was like, yeah, it's unfair that God took her away from me. And I became angry at him, and I never really attended church afterwards and stuff like that. So the more I grew up afterwards, the more I detached myself from the Catholic religion. And the more I grew up, the more I learned about what all the Catholic Church has done in Canada to natives. Yeah. So I was like, I have nothing to do with them. And for me, another thing that didn't make sense at all is like, since most of the believers of the Roman Catholic Church are suffering from hunger, from poverty, from diseases, from stuff, this big empire is so rich that the Pope is sitting, you have too many gold, too many things. So for me, it just didn't make sense. So while the Vatican is full of cash, the believers are suffering everywhere. So anyway, I became more, I wouldn't say atheist, because I was still believing that there was something greater than us. And I was also believing in the afterlife, since I lived so many paranormal things, which at this moment I was thinking it was spirits or ghosts or stuff. Um, but I knew that there was something else. But for me, I wasn't attached to any religion. I was just like believing in something greater, but
No religion.
nothing specific. Let's say that like that. So at some point, I became like agnostic, um, but I was always spiritual, always. And I had quite scary encounters with entities. That could be another story. Just tell me in the comments if you want me to make a story time about paranormal activities I witnessed. Um, but yeah, so I detached myself from any religion, but I was still believing in some things. I was confused and I was lost for like a decade and a half. Let's say that. I was a big time sinner. So, um, while I was approaching my 30th birthday, um, I was really into a mindset of like taking care of my mind, my body, and my soul. So I was really searching into religions, into stuff, and I remembered a conversation I had with a Muslim back in 2012 in Quebec. We had this Bill 21 stuff going on. So
Yeah, I
the
remember that.
the first like bill proposition was back in 2012, and I was quite okay with that at this moment. And what the bill consists of is like banning all the religion stuff from the state. But it really almost only implies women's hijab, unfortunately. But at this moment, I was quite okay with that because, yeah, all the Western medias are against Islam and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was quite complicated. So I remember on Facebook, I had kind of heated arguments and debates with Muslims back then. Um, and there's something I witnessed and I was really intrigued about it. It was how firmly attached Muslims were to Islam. So I had a conversation with a Muslim, uh, and he explained to me what it is about the aura and why women needs to cover their aura and why the men also have to cover parts of their bodies as well and stuff. And I became really curious about Islam, so I digged a little bit more. But let's go back to 2018. So in 2018, I was going on my 30th birthday, and 3 weeks before, my sister, she was my cousin, but we were really close, like sisters. She took her home, yeah. Um, and I was really traumatized at this moment. I was really lost. But the months after, like I think 3 to 4 months afterwards, I dreamed of her. And this dream was so realistic, subhanallah. It was, I remember she didn't spoke, but I could hear what she was saying to me. Um, so she just like knocked on my door, and I opened the door, and I was like, I thought you were, are you okay? I missed you so much and stuff. And I hugged her, and I remember feeling her hug like it was real, not like in other dreams. I could really touch her, subhanallah. um, so I knew at this is the exact moment I had the confirmation that there were something greater than us and that there was an afterlife. So I digged more. And in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, I met a Muslim man. He wasn't really practicing, like more like just doing the Ramadan and listening to Quran recitations. So I met him, and I asked him a lot of questions about Islam because always been really
Yeah.
curious in general.
Mm-hmm.
And he answered all my questions. And he was listening to a lot of Quran recitations. So when I heard Quran the first time, subhanallah, I felt an inner peace that I cannot even describe. Subhanallah. It was amazing. So go to part 2. I will continue my story and I will tell you how I took my shahada and how I felt afterwards, because subhanallah, I don't even have the words to describe it. This is a pure moment of grace. Subhanallah.
SubhanAllah.
See you in part 2. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, brothers and sisters, the video is ended. The sister Cath, I think the name is, I just see the name. So the sister from Quebec, she was explaining how she discovered Islam and how she became a Muslim. Even though this story is only part 1 and it's gonna need a part 2. I was reading some notes on the screen of the video. I will put this video link below description on my video. If you can donate and also watch the full video and subscribe and support this channel, please, and that I will greatly appreciate it. And that was it. It was just like a sister explaining a revert story, and I'm sorry I couldn't read all the information on the screen because it was kind of like paying attention to it. So brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. It's too hot. It's very heat in our area, and heat's very extreme. I have to put this AC on, and I will see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.